What's up? This is Jake with Hike 734, and today I hiked the 4-mile trail up to Glacier Point and then followed down the Panorama Trail over to the John Muir Trail and then followed the Mist Trail out. The trail starts over by the 4-mile trailhead and it works its way up, all the way over to Glacier Point, and then from there I followed the Panorama Trail as it wrapped along Illilouette Ridge and then all the way down to John Muir Trail, and then switched over to the Mist Trail all the way down to the valley floor. And the 4-mile trail starts out pretty level through some cool trees, and since we have extra water this year, Sentinel Falls is flowing really pretty, so that was really cool to see that as well. And then it starts to climb, and it does some good switchbacks up through this really cool oak forest, and you don't have any views initially, but as you start to get higher up, it just starts to have little fun pocket views of the mountains across the way. But really just, it was really cool this time of year. There's some fun flowers, and yeah, just getting to see some birds, and but once again, it's switchbacking and you're working your way up. Some people start this trail at the very top by Glacier Point and come down after taking a paid shuttle or having somebody take care of them. But anyways, as I went up higher, the Yosemite Falls and El Capitan, they look so beautiful. And right in front of you is actually Sentinel Rock, and that's just a really cool rock. And from there, it starts to break open as this forest gradually starts to change to more shrubby and just kind of gets better views and just looking out over into Yosemite Valley more. And yeah, just really great. And lots of, like I said, lots of really cool birds that I saw this morning. And then as the trail starts to traverse across, and then it continues to switch back up. And it's not punishing elevation gain, but it's just constant elevation gain. And then finally the trail starts to wrap around where you can see Yosemite Falls in even cooler perspective. And I just kept taking pictures and video of this waterfall because it's fantastic. And then eventually it finally gets to where it wraps around just a little bit. And so you get your first little sneak peek over at Half Dome and the Tenaya Canyon over there. And then eventually it just works its way into some really cool bigger trees, and then it'll break out open into just some more just lower shrub. And so it just kind of alternates all the way on up, and then it comes out to a really cool point called Union Point, and from there just really great panoramas. Once again, there's like Sentinel Rock, and then across is El Capitan, and then Yosemite Falls, and yeah, just really pretty, a great little spot to just soak it in. And I just can only try and show you how big and impressive this area is. But anyways, from there, then it starts to climb up a little bit more, and then eventually, after a bunch more switchbacks, then it finally goes and starts traversing around, and that's really great when it starts to do that because it's a little bit more level, and that also means that you're getting close to Glacier Point. But it comes across this really great vantage, and it's really fun because you're looking all the way down to the valley floor, where there's, the Yosemite Village and stuff. It's just really cool. And then finally it wraps around and comes over to the craziness that is Glacier Point. This place has people galore because you can drive up to Glacier Point. So if all you want to do is check out Glacier Point, you can just park and walk this really short loop, and you get to see really cool. There's Nevada Falls and Vernal Falls this year are unbelievable, and then you get to see Half Dome, which is amazing, and just look straight down. You're really on the edge of this cliff that you can see from like Half Dome Village and stuff. If that's basically right at the base of this cliff. So anyways, really cool views, tons of people. And from there, I started working my way along Panorama Trail and just cruised along that. And it's called that because you have panoramic views. And it traverses across the Illilouette Ridge. It alternates between landscapes that are kind of covered in shrubs to stands of ponderosas where there's not maybe as much growing underneath it. But definitely really great for a variety of birds and just great views. And as I went down further, the shrubs and stuff started to get a little bit taller. And just really, like I said, just really cool to see how Half Dome's shape changes as you drop down. And yeah, anyways, just great views all the way down. I felt like I stopped a lot just to go ahead and just take more panoramas because it was just really pretty and lots of photos. And anyways, finally the trail starts really dropping down into the kind of some more stands of Ponderosa right before it goes alongside of Illilouette Creek. And the waterfall is crazy right now. I think that this waterfall would be pretty anytime as long as there's water flowing in it, but this time it is just roaring and it is awesome. And so anyways, spent some time just taking pictures and just looking down and just seeing the power, because it is just crazy powerful. Yeah, really pretty, great location. Went over and crossed over on the bridge, this creek is really kind of sketchy, especially now because it's high flow, and then also knowing that it drops ridiculous just right beyond it. But anyways, started traveling on the other side and working my way up that way, and just this part switchbacks really cool, and it also is really exposed. There's a lot more sections of just open rock, and it's kind of got this drier forest, and so it's just really fun, just the whole trail, like all the different, from the oak to the ponderosas to the, you know, cliff edge to the, you know, shrubby. I mean, it just got a bunch of different types, and this is definitely no exception. So it's just really cool to see how these change. And there's some snow plants, which are really cool. Just they're bright red. They're a cool parasitic plant. And anyways, to the left is actually a huge cliff. So it has to switch back up and gain elevation to get over this cliff, and then it starts to drop down just into this, yeah, just really cool. And there's just more water in this next area. As it switchbacks down, then it goes through these really cool, as it alternates between kind of ponderosa forests and then the Douglas fir stands, which those are huge as well, depending upon the aspect. So, you know, Douglas firs like a little bit more moisture, and ponderosas are a little bit drier. So it's just kind of cool to see some of this, and just some of the other plants that are involved in this. But that switchbacks down and drops you down to the John Muir Trail. And from there, I decided to go ahead and just hike over the 0.2 miles to Nevada Falls. And I am really glad that I did. I know that I'll get to see that when I do Half Dome in the future, but I'm really glad that I snuck over there, because right now this waterfall is terrifyingly and awesome. It is just crazy how much flow it is. I can tell you what you're looking at right now is only part of how incredible it is. I won't be able to capture the power. That thing is roaring and is just crazy. But just really, just feel super fortunate just to see these waterfalls in the stage that they're in, because they are unbelievable. And anyways, just really cool to just watch this thing and see it. But so from there, I turned back around and went over back to the John Muir Trail and just started working that, as that kind of heads on down, and it just traverses across the mountain face, and then it starts to switch back down over towards the Mist Trail. And yeah, just through that whole section, it's just really neat how everything kind of just changes, and as you're changing elevation and getting lower once again, just the terrain's changing a lot. And so yeah. And finally, as I got closer to Vernal Falls, I decided not to go over to Vernal Falls because the day was getting long, and I'm going to see that later on. But I crossed over the Merced River on the footbridge there, and I could actually see Vernal Falls from there, which was kind of fun to see it from below as opposed to from above as I did earlier. But the river is just roaring, and it's just really fun to see. So anyways, came across that and started working down, and this trail here is really paved in really nice shape, but it's actually pretty dang steep. And of course, that might be partly because of my tired legs at this point, but finally worked my way down there along the Merced River and then all the way to the very bottom of the trail. But my goodness, really, really cool day. The whole trail, I think the whole thing's about 12 miles, and you can do this a bunch of different ways. You can get a shuttle up to Glacier Point and take the Panorama Trail down, or you can take the 4-mile trail down, or you can do it the way that I did it. You can visit a couple of the waterfalls. I'm going to visit both those waterfalls again when I do Half Dome, but really big, long day, but what a great way to explore Yosemite Valley. I don't know if there's really a better way to get a bird's eye view of it. maybe there is, but this one definitely gets to check off a lot of the drainages from these angles. So anyways, this is Jake with Hike 734, hiking the 4-mile trail, the Panorama Trail, the John Muir Trail, visiting Glacier Point in Yosemite National Park. If you like this video, make sure you subscribe on YouTube and head on over to hike734.com for more goodness.